Thank you for joining us here on this beautiful day here in Suffolk. I'm Jennifer Moore, the Director of Media and Community Relations with the City of Suffolk, and very excited to be your MC today as we break ground on Fire Station 11. I just wanted to start off with some quick remarks, opening remarks, to welcome our dignitaries and elected officials. Of course, we've got Senator Mark Warner joining us today. Thank you for being here. We've got Mayor Michael Duman, Councilperson Butler Barlow, Councilman Leroy Bennett, Councilman Roger Fawcett, Councilman Leotis Williams. We also have our Treasurer Ron Williams, Councilman John Rector, I see you over there, Fire Chief Michael Baraki. We've got Major Danny Bowie from the Suffolk Police Department, City Manager Al Moore, Delegate Clint Jenkins, Delegate Emily Brewer, I think I saw you here. The Darius Clark, thank you for joining us as well. We've got representatives from VDEM, we've got John Northon. We've got representatives from Jen Kiggins' office as well, and Sheriff E.C. Harris, Commonwealth Attorney Narendra Plez, Clerk of Court Randy Carter, and Commissioner of Revenue Susan Draper. So we've got a packed house today. Delegate Clint Jenkins, thank you for joining us. We've got Aziz Felter and Kevin Hughes, our Deputy City Management as well. So without any further ado, I would like to ask Fire Chief Michael Baraki to come up here and chat about the new fire station.
Mayor, members of City Council, the Honorable Senator Warner, VDEM Deputy Coordinator John Northon, other dignitaries and guests, welcome to the official groundbreaking of Fire Station 11. Today is about the community and the City of Suffolk's commitment to provide the best fire and advanced life support emergency medical services to the citizens and visitors of North Suffolk. Today we celebrate the groundbreaking, but to make it here today, so many people have contributed to the vision of a world-class fire and rescue station that will serve the city for the next 50 plus years. Mr. Moore and city staff, today is a milestone. Since this station was placed in the capital improvement plan, the city had identified the right location, which we did, acquire the land, budget the staff, and cost of construction, design, and award the project. This required partnerships, meetings, and more meetings, right guys on the committee, to execute this to have ARCHS and construction break ground. I want to thank Matt Arston and Brian Wolf from RRMM Architects. And Matt and Brian, are you here? There, thank you guys for leading the city's design team so that the station that will rise from the slot will not only be functional, but designed to meet the needs of the community. Thank you guys, very well done. Contained in this 20,792 square foot fire station is a 1,655 foot community meeting area that will allow our citizens the opportunity to meet with ample seating, audio-visual equipment, and displays for over 60 people. That's a big win. Thank you for designing that in there as well. The fire station will house an engine company, ladder company, advanced life support ambulance, and an EMS supervisor. 15 firefighters and medics will serve out of this fire station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With the 3 shifts, there'll be 45 firefighters and medics that will call Station 11 home. 5 offices and 1 watch office will allow fire officers and firefighters to complete their administrative duties, and one of the offices will be dedicated to the Virginia Department of Emergency Management's Southside Hazmat Material Officer. This partnership benefits not only the citizens of Suffolk, but the entire region. With this station, we'll now have our second rescue company that will have hazardous materials technicians and specialists assigned that will work hand in hand with Ray and the Southside Regional Hazmat Officer on a daily basis. In addition, the location of Fire Station 11 benefits the citizens and visitors of the region outside of the City of Suffolk with respect to fire rescue and emergency response. This station is less than 1 mile from 664, 2 miles from the bridge of the Montreux Merrimack Memorial Bridge, and less than 1 mile from the city of Chesapeake and Portsmouth. Automatic aid and code responses to Chesapeake, Portsmouth, and Newport News will become quicker, and everyone in North Suffolk, Western Portsmouth, Northwest Chesapeake, and those who travel on I-664 will benefit from this firehouse. To house all this equipment, there are 4 92-foot-long apparatus bays that were strategically placed or designed to provide for a rapid response of firefighters and medics of the 5 pieces dedicated to the station. The 20 bunk rooms are compliant with new industry standards. Thank you guys, and are placed so that they are expedient response of firefighters will occur. The kitchen, day room, and dining area can accommodate 20 people, and there's a 540-foot fitness room that integrates into the apparatus bay, because as you can see, all the firefighters here, we're occupational athletes. That's what I told myself. And we have to accomplish our core mission of physical fitness during our work shift. The fire station will have an SCBA airfill and service area, EMS storage, a workshop to repair tools and small equipment, and a decontamination room so that firefighters and medics can remove byproducts of smoke, fire, hazardous byproducts, biohazards before entering the living area. A mezzanine will be above that will allow for storage of fire gear, hose, and large equipment. And thank you to Mr. Moore, a 3-story training tower is incorporated into the building that will allow our firefighters in North Suffolk and the section of their city in the north here to train on rope, elevator rescue, roof ventilation, hose line deployment, technical rescue, laddering, and apparatus placement. All this equipment in this station has to have people though. So through the 2021 SAFER grant from the Department of Homeland Security, the City of Suffolk and Suffolk Fire Rescue was awarded $3.4 million for 3 years worth of salaries for 18 of the 45 firefighters that will call the station home. Senator Warner, thank you, and thank you to your colleagues at the United States Senate and to the Senate Committee on Appropriations for the funding that our FEMA administrators as well as the Department of Homeland Security needs to help fund SAFER. Grants like SAFER allow for the city to grow as a community. Today, there are 18 firefighters that are hired by this grant that are trained and ready to serve our community. They are at work because of the grant. Thank you, sir. Finally, as I get ready to turn this over to Mayor, the Honorable Mike Duman, I want to thank city staff, the staff of Suffolk Fire Rescue for their dedication to the station. Mr. Al Moore, Mr. Kevin Hughes, Mr. Z. Felder, thank you so much for your support from the city manager's office. Teelan Hansen, Charles Meek from Finance, thank you as well. Gary Jones from Catapult Programs, Jay Schmileski and Amy Gardner from Purchasing, thank you as well. Finally, Deputy Chiefs James Dickens and Ted Adams, and the Station 11 Design Committee, Assistant Chief David Harrell, Battalion Chief William Kessinger, Acting Battalion Chief Stephen Hinkle, Captain Blake Jennings, Captain Matt Allaman, and Lieutenant Bryant Dodson. Thank you guys for your commitment. Mayor, welcome aboard.
Good morning. Well, that's a lot of stuff, Chief. I mean, obviously, we just don't have a building. We're going to park a couple of fire engines in it. And I think sometimes that's how the public perceives it. But there are so much to those job descriptions and so many duties that our fire and rescue provide that sometimes it's just hard to imagine to put it into proper perspective. Before I start, I would like to announce that Vice Mayor Ward is unable to attend this morning and sends his regrets. But today we officially commenced the transformation of this unassuming corner into a 20,000 square foot, and as Chief said, plus state-of-the-art fire station that will provide emergency services for this rapidly growing North Suffolk corridor. Not only will this station house become a workplace for a team of 45 dedicated professionals that will be comprised of firefighters, paramedics, and administrative personnel, but will also include the multi-purpose room, which the Chief alluded to, that will be available to our community. It's widely recognized that, without a doubt, there could be no quality of life if people do not feel safe in their neighborhoods. Our citizens depend on the safety professionals and their ability to respond to situations quickly and effectively. Without a sense of physical safety, both individually and more broadly as a community, we're unable to focus on other factors to support our well-being. With this in mind, City Council and City Administration has made safety the #1 priority. In addition to the $10 million investment in this facility, last year's budget allocated 29% of resources to public safety. Our fire and safety budget has increased, and I don't know if I'm not taking a shot at you here. The fire and safety budget has increased 21% in the last 3 years. And there's $29 million in projected expenditures in the capital improvement plan dedicated to fire and rescue over the next 5 years. Suffolk stands out as a shining example of progress and vitality. Our city's taken the lead in regional population growth, boasting an impressive 5.1% increase from 2020 to 2022. But along with population growth, Our city has experienced a notable growth in GDP, businesses, and housing units in the last 5 years. As our community expands, so does the demand for essential services like fire protection and emergency medical assistance. Fire Station 11 is absolutely strategically positioned to serve this dynamic area, which is the very core of the monumental growth we've had. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Senator Mark Warner for his steadfast support of the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response Grant. Thank goodness for acronyms. SAFER. This grant will fund 18 out of the 45 positions in this new station for 3 years. This results in a cost savings of approximately $3.4 million for our city. The SAFER grant program provides essential financial support to Virginia's fire departments, enabling them to maintain adequate staffing of well-trained firefighters. In 2023 alone, SAFER grants have provided over $8 million in funding to local fire departments. On behalf of the entire city of Suffolk, I want to once again extend our gratitude to Senator Mark Warner for his ardent support of the SAFER program, and by extension, to the enduring excellence of Suffolk Fire and Rescue. I was about to welcome Senator Warner to the podium, but I had to revise some notes here. I just received news yesterday evening that Senator Warner, along with Senator Kane, were instrumental in securing $3 million of funding for the Army Corps of Engineers dredging of the former Brady's Marina Inlet. This property was recently acquired by our city and will be improved to provide access to the Nansemond River and other recreational activities. Thank you again, Senator Warner. And now, it is with great honor and significant anticipation that I invite you to join me in welcoming Senator Mark Warner to the podium. Senator Warner.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that warm welcome. You know, I've learned, being now the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia, that you get a lot better response if you can bring a check along when you come. So, when I was governor, I used to be able to bring the big checks. Ron remembers that. But with Tim and the balance of the delegation, we were glad to get that, $3 million from the Army Corps. The Army Corps is a wild piece. It's kind of like the fourth branch of government. And here in Hampton Roads, we know there is no higher authority than the Army Corps. So we're glad to get that $3 million. Thank all of the local, state elected officials that are here, but mostly thank the firefighters. I mean, you guys... When other people run out, you guys run into danger. And as a community, whether it's firefighters, whether it's our law enforcement, whether it's our 911 responders in terms of the call centers, our EMT teams, it is really, really important. I think during COVID, we saw the stress that was put on. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But as a Virginian and as an American, I thank you for what you do. I don't think you get near enough recognition. I don't think you get near enough appreciation. I think as a governor and now senator, I get a chance to see a little bit behind the scenes. Chief, pretty cool bus you got over there. But it is, thank you. Now, I am proud to be part of this. I'm, being a good politician. Mike, I'm going to claim that the SAFER grant, which did sponsor 18 firefighters, $3.4 million, that freed up an otherwise $3.4 million, Mr. City Manager, as you know, that could go in to the construction. So I am hoping that the as somebody that could still lose a few pounds, that I get a plaque around the gym in here.
I just checked with the chief and see
I need to check with the chief. Maybe get the membership. But this is so important, and I'm really, really grateful to be here for this groundbreaking. I want to hit very briefly Three or four other quick items that I think are related. This SAFER program has been around for a long time, supported broadly, provides that funding, again, not forever, but 3-year periods usually to hire additional personnel, critically important. That's the good news, and we got the $3.4 million to Suffolk. The bad news is this program expires at the end of 2024. It passed the Senate, the renewal of this program, 95-2. So both teams are fully on board. What I'd hope we'd ask our elected officials is, let's make sure it doesn't die in the House of Representatives. They need to step up and make sure this program that helps our first responders gets renewed, number one. Number two, and let me also quickly add, the mayor and council, they got me in the fire and rescue van for a few minutes. You would have thought that they were there to kind of say, thank you, Senator, for the $3.4 million. Thank you for getting the money from the Army Corps of Engineers. No, that was not the only thing they were looking for. I've got a list of 7 other items that the city is going to be requesting. And again, my hope is that we'll be able to meet some of those requests. We have, I'm very big on infrastructure. We finally have, in a bipartisan way, kind of stepped up, and there will never be as much federal money available for infrastructure as there will be over the next 3 to 5 years. And whether we're talking about road, bridges, rail, airports, things that aren't sexy like water and sewer, things that I think are sexy like broadband deployment, you can count on me to be there for Suffolk, for Hampton Roads, to make sure that we try to secure as many of those federal funds as possible. But there are a couple of other items that I wanted to mention that are going to be on my priority list. And I asked both from our police and fire whether I could acknowledge this, because it's a little bit of a sensitive subject. I think after COVID and the enormous strain that's been put on all of our first responders, one of the things, whether we think about our members of the legislature or we think about it from the federal level, we got to acknowledge that the strains that have been put on our first responders are unprecedented. And there needs to be appropriate mental health support for these first responders. I hear this time and again, people that have been stretched to the nth degree. We need to help them out. We also need to, frankly, and again, whether this is federal or state, we need to grapple with the fact that not only are there mental health needs of our first responders, but there's a whole lot of time, and this is more in our law enforcement colleagues, where it just doesn't make sense that a police officer or a sheriff's deputy who brings somebody in who may have their own mental health issues then has to sit 12, 24, up to 72 hours sitting, not doing their job with somebody in an intake facility. So how we can sort through that, whether we can bring retired officers in, whether we can have someone with a different skill level, we got to do that. The public needs the protection, and quite honestly, whether you're a firefighter or a cop, you didn't sign up to sit with somebody after you've done your job of bringing them into a facility. We've got to make that handover a little bit quicker. Third thing we've got to do, and again, I know that the city is, I frankly think, taking more of a lead on this than almost any jurisdiction in Virginia. And that is, and I commend the city and the council for thinking about this. And it's something that I didn't, fully appreciate until the last year. While our first responders, police and fire, EMTs, we see what they do. A piece, though, of that whole public response network is our 911 dispatch call center operators. Many times after the fire, the firefighter can maybe take a deep breath. After an incident on the street, the police or sheriff's deputy can take a deep breath. Too often, our 911 dispatchers go from an enormously traumatic call and they get no break at all. And they go straight to another call. And the craziness that we've had, and I think this has been for a long, long time, but I'm committed to trying to fix it. The craziness we've had in terms of how we classify those telephone dispatch officers is we view them as kind of administrative staff rather than part of the first responder network. So whatever I can do for the federal level to make sure that these folks get the pay and appreciation and support as well, please count on me. And the last item, the chief mentioned this as we were walking over. And again, I was familiar with the Virginia Beach part, but I want to thank those of you on the search and rescue or your colleagues who are on the search and rescue. I know we've got Suffolk search and rescue people on the ground in Maui now, dealing with the horrific aftermath of that fire. And the chief made the point to me that, you know, this comes out of the Department of Homeland Security budget, and I know there's some folks I work with that want to cream that budget. I hope they would understand that the $34 million that's dedicated towards National Search and Rescue is not enough money when unfortunately we're going to continue to have these kind of weather and other related tragedies around the country. And I hope you will express my appreciation again to your colleagues who are on those search and rescue teams, who are, you know, literally helping our fellow Americans all the way across the country come out of this tragedy. So this is a great day for Suffolk. It is a great day for this new fire station that's going to help service this community. I'm proud in some small way, $3.4 million, to have been part of it. I'll close with where I started, not only to thank our local elected officials and state officials, but a really hearty thank you to our fire first responders and police first responders. God bless you. You keep us safe. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Warner. Well, let's turn some dirt. I'd like to ask our city officials who are on the bus, council as well, to please grab a shovel. Delegate Brewer, Delegate Jenkins as well, please join us for the photo opportunity. And then afterwards, we'll chat with members of the media as well. If y'all can just hold off and let us do our photo ops, and we'll get with y'all in due time. But I'd also like to ask our fire officials, those in uniform, to please stand behind us for the ceremonial groundbreaking. I think it's really important to recognize that you guys are the backbone here. So let's get this dirt turned.